I saw, I could see a connection between materiality of paints and how I could work it, and manifesting or registering some of my interest in specifically feminism and sexuality. I was interested in a kind of sexuality, a feminism in which sensuality and sexuality was embraced. So in Durban I made the cake paintings, which were really the first paintings that I understood as critical paintings. And that was to draw attention to the paint itself as a form. I built up physically the cake part of the painting in extreme three-dimensional form. I started a set of paintings which shifted away from the flatness, if you like, of the cake paintings to look at illusionism and painting. The painting touched on lots of different ideas. On the surface of it, it looked like it referenced 17th century Dutch still life painting and classical painting more generally. The painting kind of oozes sexuality, even though it's kind of dead in some ways. I was also very interested in hysteria at the time. The painting, though, also was painted in 1985, the kind of heyday of apartheid, and it was. I was very conscious of the fact that I was painting a painting about all these things, all these objects, all this food, all this stuff, just lots and lots of stuff, sort of tables collapsing with stuff, and that meant something in the larger sort of social and political context I was working in, and I was very conscious of that. So I started using ink and glue when I wanted that kind of materiality, I thought, and it was a pure experiment. The glue seemed very much like a kind of stand-in for the oil paint, except it was transparent and it had something interesting to it, and it also had the qualities of drying slowly, so there was something mysterious to it, or something that was out of my control, beyond my control, which I really like working in that way. And then these paintings just developed into large-scale paintings, which became much more bodily, and the glue and the ink and a huge amount of chance. I want to make a work, part of the crowd's work, which was sort of around lynching, because there was, in all my research, there was so much around what happens when the crowd turns on an individual and the relationship of the individual to the crowd. And these little birds are produced through this glue, moving in its ways, in its mysterious ways. That I mean, I wouldn't have been able to paint this sort of movement. I mean, the glue, when it dries, registers movement. It just shows that there's movement there. And that's just very, very unusual. And I wouldn't want to paint that illusionistically, because that's something else. I want the movement. I want the history, I want the movement actually itself, something that's quite primary. Then the glue.
I'm glad you don't use your hands.
The hands come later. And then I have to put cushions underneath them, or direct the gravity, direct the direction of gravity, whichever way it works. And it's the movement and energy that I think the ink and glue give, which I think the oil painting doesn't really give me. It gives me something else. What happens is the colours then sometimes merge. They sort of sit in the glue, yeah. And so and they take on this visceral, I don't know how to explain it, sort of form, surface. Mm-hmm. What I also then do is take, this is where it becomes more difficult, this is the danger of losing stuff, but I do use water with the inks and the glue, and I can also do things with repositioning it, sort of